Hey, it's Sergey with Hypergrowth Engineering, and today I want to talk to you about why the mentoring that you are doing is helpful for the organization. I thought that mentoring engineers was actually costing the company money, but not so. If you want to be able to communicate in your promotion package why the mentoring that you are doing for other engineers is of value to the company, you want to listen to this video. Now, when I started off mentoring other engineers, then I had this thought in my head that if I help to upskill these engineers, then the organization is going to have to pay them more. And I thought, how crazy is it that my manager wants me to coach and mentor these other engineers so that the organization pays them more money? How crazy is that? Now, only later did I figure out that it is actually very much desirable and in the organization's best interests for engineers to get better at their craft and to learn on the job and be mentored by others. Multiple reasons for this, so let's get into it. Now, when you think of engineers, you put the engineer in the right place and they can earn 1,000x their salary for the company in value. Think Instagram. You put the same engineer into a different company and they can reap losses 1,000x their salary. Think FTX. And that all puts into perspective of how important it is where an engineer works, what problem the engineer tackles. Really, the engineer provides leverage for the organization in being able to solve problems. Which problems they solve usually is up to product, usually is up to management, but you can have a little bit of say in that. The common analogy that we use for engineers on a product team is engineers are the pit crew maintaining the engine of the car. Product is the driver behind it. If we're using a slightly older analogy, engineers are the lever and product places the fulcrum. When those two are aligned, they can move the world. But if they're not, or if they're in the wrong spot, then nothing really happens. The best you did was waste a whole bunch of resources on building a lever or a fast car that isn't going anywhere. Employers actually pay for the promise of solved problems. They don't pay for direct value delivered. They pay an engineer for how well they're able to solve problems. And that means when a company hires an engineer, the actual value delivered is highly, highly dependent on the problem that they're applied to. On one team, super high value, high leverage, big impact. And same engineer on a different team, maybe just a completely different problem, not as much leverage, less impact, maybe even negative impact, just as a waste of resources. So all in all, remember, when you are coaching other engineers, you don't have to feel guilty about it. You're actually working in the best interests of the organization. Why? See, coaching engineers helps them be better at solving the problems that are set in front of them. And when they're better at solving problems set in front of them, they provide more leverage for their employer. They provide more leverage for the company that they're working at. And even if they do demand a higher salary, usually that lags their uptick in skills by 6 to 12 months. So the employer gets a whole bunch of free value by continuing to employ this recently upskilled engineer. In fact, a lot of promotion guidelines stipulate that the engineer has to be performing at that level, already meeting the requirements of the level that they're getting promoted to before they get promoted to that level. Because the company wants to make sure that that engineer is going to meet expectations for that level. It's a kind of risk aversion move so that when the engineer finally does get that promotion, that they're set to succeed in that position. So remember, if you're conflicted about whether mentoring another engineer and helping them upskill in their career is a valid use of your time, if you're not subverting the organization with your actions, you're not. You're actually quite benefiting the organization. So you can feel unconflicted and aligned in your purpose and in your purpose alongside the organization. Hope you found that useful. Peace.